Emma and I have been married for over 3 decades. We met when we were young. I'm now 59, and she's 55. We have 3 grown children and have supported each other through the ups and downs of life. Emma is incredibly important to me. Emma has friends who subscribe to beliefs such as feminism, identity politics, and social justice, which differ from my own views, but that's all right. People are entitled to their own perspectives on these matters. Emma and I occasionally discuss these topics, attempting to understand where each other is coming from. I didn't give much thought to these ideas that Emma was embracing or beginning to explore, dismissing them as nonsense. Emma held firm beliefs regarding the long-standing oppression of women, which occasionally intimidated me. She had not personally suffered from depression or faced discrimination. These conversations made me uncomfortable, so I frequently attempted to steer the conversation elsewhere whenever the topic arose. I've observed these so-called woke women on television, loudly voicing their opinions and lashing out at others when they lacked rational responses. I was concerned that Emma might be coming under their influence. One day, she began to question our marriage, criticizing it for becoming monotonous. I proposed we seek therapy to improve our relationship, but she preferred to take a vacation by herself. I gave in with hesitation, only to discover later that she had gone with her friends, whom I considered to be a bad influence. When Emma came back from her trip after a week, she seemed transformed. She had chopped her hair off and exuded a different vibe. It was as though I was meeting someone new. She didn't embrace me or show any warmth upon her return, which was disconcerting and made me feel alienated. Emma increasingly spent time with her friends and participated in demonstrations, some of which I did not endorse. I had a serious talk with her, voicing my worries about the path she was on. I urged her to rethink her decisions, but she ignored my advice and persisted in her activities. The situation worsened when she got arrested for joining a protest that blocked traffic, and I had to collect her from the police station. On the drive home, we engaged in an intense argument, and her silence throughout left me even more troubled about her state of mind. Emma began to use TikTok to spread her feminist views, quickly gaining a following and dedicating a lot of time and energy to producing her content. She would spend extensive periods preparing and filming for the platform. Her commitment to social media appeared to be consuming much of her time and effort. I was appalled by one of Emma's videos, which conveyed a message that disturbed me. In the video, she talked about avoiding the fate of becoming an unhappy older woman, highlighting that many realize too late they've sacrificed their own needs for family and work, leading to bitterness. Emma advocated for women to lead independent lives for their own satisfaction, pointing out that even in happy marriages, discontent can linger. She argued that while divorce might not be the answer, finding personal joy and truly experiencing life was essential. Emma encouraged women to live each day fully, cherish good marriages, but also maintain their individuality separate from their roles as wives and mothers. She called for women to break from monotony, explore the world, and find joy and satisfaction beyond their familial duties. I interpreted her message as an encouragement for women to pursue divorce. That evening, I confronted her, only to be stunned by her declaration that she was leaving, having already packed her belongings. I attempted to dissuade her, but she retorted that she was tired of her life, desiring freedom and happiness without the responsibilities of being a grandmother or a wife. She expressed a longing to enjoy her life and discover what lies beyond this prison. I was at a loss for words, feeling that I had lost my wife to negative influences that had corrupted her thinking. I didn't try to stop her, simply expressing that I would miss her and asking her to return once she finished exploring. She had relocated to a modest apartment downtown. I informed our children about their mother's situation, and they all believed she was just experiencing a temporary phase and would soon return home. I shared their hope and waited for her. However, my wait was abruptly ended by the shock of receiving divorce papers. It was clear she had planned this all along and was not merely going through a phase. I reached out to Emma, but she didn't respond. During this time, my children also attempted to persuade her to reconsider the divorce, but she dismissed them as well. A few weeks later, our divorce was finalized, and after 3 decades together, I found myself single. The next day, Emma posted a new video celebrating her move. In her new residence, which she likened to a princess bed, she recounted the rain during the move the day before. She awoke feeling liberated and excited for the first time in many years. Despite the small size of her apartment and the ongoing unpacking, she expressed gratitude for this new chapter in her life. After weeks of settling in, she had finally made herself at home in her new apartment and planned to give a tour the following day. For now, she simply wanted to greet everyone. Additionally, she pointed out that her extremely attractive boyfriend was preparing dinner for her, highlighting how wonderful her life was. I felt both anger and heartbreak. She destroyed my household and now she has shattered my heart. My children also watched the video and reached out to comfort me, encouraging me to move forward with my life. In time, I did move on and met an incredible woman named Lily, who was in her early 40s. Lily worked as a high school teacher and was single. We connected right away and have since been in a stable relationship. I chose not to tell my former wife about Lily, as I didn't see it as necessary. I organized a trip with my children and Lily to help everyone get to know one another and bond. Lily suggested I invite my ex-wife Emma to the trip because she believed it was important for Emma to be aware that I had someone new in my life. So, I reached out to Emma with an invitation to join us. At first, she was reluctant to come along on our trip. At that point, I hadn't mentioned Lily to her. Later, my daughter called Emma, urging her to come and made it clear that we wouldn't ask again. I had arranged an exceptional boat ride for all of us, and Emma was the last to confirm her attendance. She arrived by herself. Upon her arrival, I introduced her to Lily and shared my happiness with her. I wished I could have captured Emma's expression at that moment. Her face turned red, and it was clear she hadn't anticipated that I would move on with my life. Throughout the trip, I found pleasure in witnessing Emma's aversion to Lily and me. Although Lily's intentions were pure, I couldn't help but enjoy the outcome. Shortly after, Emma released another video where she admitted that the recent events had been extremely distressing for her. She accepted partial responsibility for the upsetting circumstances, even though she recognized it wasn't entirely her fault. Emma confessed that she expected a strong reaction to the news of her estranged husband's new relationship. Despite their separation of a year, they had still spent time together as a family, and he had reassured her repeatedly that he wasn't seeing anyone else, which was not the case. Emma was hesitant about going on the trip, worried that her ex-husband might misread her intentions. Nevertheless, her daughter convinced her to go, hinting that he might not invite her again. Looking back, Emma understood why her daughter had given her that advice. She explained that her deepest hurt came not from him being with someone else, as she herself had a boyfriend, but from him not informing her. She had felt secure in the belief that he still had feelings for her. He even invited me to join him and our daughters on a trip, which I accepted. However, during the trip, I stumbled upon some painful text messages, which was a shocking discovery. The ensuing trauma was profound, leading to a physical and emotional breakdown, and I felt completely overwhelmed by my emotions. It was an awful experience, and I'm finding it hard to deal with. Her distress wasn't about losing me. It was more about losing exclusive access to my support and the stability I provided. The moment that triggered her was when she found out I was expressing love to another woman. Unlike Emma's boyfriend, who was only interested in casual relationships and didn't invest in her financially or emotionally, a man in love like me typically seeks to build a life with his partner. For Emma, the real shock was being replaced by another woman in my life. Emma started calling me frequently, expressing her regret and reminding me that I had once asked her to return. In response, I told her it was too late and that she would no longer be a part of my life. That opportunity had passed. She had made her choices and created her situation, and now she had to live with the consequences of her actions. A few days later, Emma posted another video, sharing that things were not going well for her. She reflected on the times when life was good and wondered if the current hardships were her fault, questioning if she was selfish or egocentric. Emma admitted to struggling with the falseness and pretense in her life, acknowledging that while she was initially okay, the reality of the separation was now hitting her. Realizing it was just a separation and that worse things could happen, Emma still felt uncertain about her future. She could only recall the good times and found it difficult to remember any negatives. Emma reminisced about a wonderful woman who used to be a close friend, mentioning that she had been invited to dinner by this person and had even bought presents for their children. Despite being with her own family, Emma chose to have dinner with this other family, feeling a sense of loss for her own family and the hardship of being apart from them. Emma admitted that having a family was very important to her, and she considered if enduring suffering was worth it to have her family together again. She felt disoriented about who she was without them. With tears in her eyes, Emma explained that her feelings weren't caused by alcohol but arose from the deep challenges she faced. She wished everyone a pleasant Saturday and hoped she would feel better later, despite the deep sense of loss she experienced. Emma ended by talking about her intention to spend time with another family who had invited her, grateful for the invitation but recognizing the difficulty of the situation for her. My daughter called and wanted to do something together, but I explained that their mother chose this path and that I had attempted to prevent it. She sought freedom, and now she has it, along with a new romantic life and the ability to travel as she pleases. My daughter concurred, stating she agreed with everything I said, yet she couldn't help feeling sorry for her mother's poor decisions. A few days later, another video appeared. Good morning. At times, I question my actions and the decisions I've made. Last night, I dreamt about my estranged husband who appeared, claiming he had severely injured his hand and was weeping. In the dream, he needed my assistance, and I offered to move in and care for him. It felt as though we were resetting our lives to how they once were. The dream was distressing, and such a scenario isn't even feasible. Dreams can be peculiar like that, I suppose. My body seems to be signaling that I still have love for him, and that will always be the case. But circumstances have changed now. At times, I become infuriated and wonder why he doesn't acknowledge that I deserve an equitable share. He's willing to give me some money, but it's insufficient. I contributed to our shared assets. My parents loaned us money, and I played a crucial role in supporting him, motivating him, and standing by him, even through tough times. I've made errors and have paid for them, particularly when I left. It seems like his actions were acceptable, but mine were always at fault. I'm perpetually held responsible for everything. So here I am at this juncture in my life. He has more financial resources than I do, and I'm struggling to secure a decent living space. Some individuals, particularly men, believe that women don't merit anything, that they're just sponging off others, and that they should fend for themselves. After 3 decades of caring for someone, I feel undervalued and worthless. It's a difficult situation. After watching the video, I concluded that she has now lost her sanity. She did receive her portion of the wealth in the divorce settlement. I followed the legal procedures to the letter, and she can't manipulate the situation to make me out to be the bad guy in this narrative, nor can she hold me accountable for her poor choices. I was tempted to retaliate and considered suing her over her video. However, Lily intervened and advised me to disregard her. My children reached out to Emma, demanding an apology for her post or else she would be excluded from everyone's lives. Left with little choice, Emma did issue a feeble apology, attributing her actions to her mental health issues. A few days later, I married Lily and made the decision to unfollow Emma across all my social media platforms.